Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. As you know, I am always delving into the depths of the stock market, looking for potentially undervalued companies to add to my portfolio for outsized future returns in my quest to pummel the gurus and hopefully even beat the market. Will I succeed? Will I fail? Well, if I'm still here in 20 years, we'll find out, I suppose. Now, I recently came across a company, and this was suggested to me by one of my good friends and commenters, Ryan. He suggested that I check into this company that serves a slightly higher end clientele, you could say. The type of people you probably wouldn't see shopping in the aisles of Walmart, okay? People with a little bit more disposable income, as it were. This company recently suffered a bit of, I guess, what we're calling, in my view, a bit of a catastrophic implosion. All right. Now, of course, obviously, the company I'm talking about is Target. Okay. Target stock has plummeted over 13% year to date, and may, emphasis on may, be falling into value territory depending on how you view their future. So, on the PR thing with regards to the Pride Month situation, I think that they differ slightly from Bud Light in a key way. The demographics, okay? When I think of a Bud Light drinker, I think, and this is just my instinct, I think more Walmart shopper than Target shopper, right? But the people who are upset about the Target merch are the same people that are upset about the ill-fated Bud Light marketing campaign. Now, I don't think there is as much overlap with that as far as Target shoppers go, okay? So I think the majority of the people you see up in arms going to Target, hassling the employees, making a scene, they're instigators, not shoppers, all right? So if it was the case that they actually, shopped at Target like they used to buy Bud Light, right? The same, the same rough demographic, I mean, that's upset. I think they would just use the same tactic on Target. They would boycott, right? So what do you see in all the social media? You see people going around to different stores, filming the beer aisle with all of the Anheuser-Busch products, especially Bud Light, fully in stock with all the other stuff picked over, okay? That's what they're going for there. They're not going in and smashing cases of Bud Light with a baseball bat or whatever. Yet with Target, you see these people instigating, right? Going in, yelling, making a scene, yada, yada, yada. Why? Because they know they can't really boycott a place they didn't shop at to begin with, so they have to get at them some other way. Now, that's just my suspicion. It could be that their sales will show some decline from all of this, but I suspect that whatever drop in sales Target has will probably be less severe than what Anheuser-Busch InBev has suffered from this situation. And ultimately, higher end clientele will still prefer the Target shopping experience regardless of this situation. I think one trip down to Walmart will probably just change their minds straight back. Have you ever searched the people of Walmart on the internet? It's crazy what you find in that place. All right. Now, that being said, I like to look at the actual figures with regards to Target. So they've had a relatively steady, sometimes very impressive revenue growth. It seems like they always either are in the low single digits, or they occasionally have a really outstanding year where they grow solidly into the double digits. with the occasional stutter step mixed in. But overall, it's a company that grows sales pretty consistently. Now, the bottom line is a little bit interesting as of late. So it seemed like they were on track to grow pretty steadily for a time, not at like a necessarily a breakneck pace, but like a pretty solid, steady pace. And then all of a sudden, 2021, they had some kind of rocket blast off kind of thing, and then basically dropped more than half the following year in terms of EPS. Now, there were some issues with a lot of companies overbuying on inventory, and at the same time, inflation kind of making its way into different areas and hurting revenue and sales. So it could be they overbought an inventory, revenue didn't grow again as much as they hoped in 2022, and maybe they had to sell some stuff on clearance, etc. And they took a bit of a haircut. This is one of those things where you can see it in the gross margin, right? They went from 29%, right, which had been pretty consistent, 29 to 30% gross margin for years. And then suddenly it took a 5% hit to 24.5%. And when a company is doing $100-something billion in revenue, that few percent in gross margin translates to so much on the bottom line. It's disgusting. Now, that being said, with all of these factors causing the Target stock to be down currently, substantially, does this bode well for it as a potential value play? Well, if we pull up a discounted free cash flow, I'm running it with the analyst estimate, and the average analyst estimates that I found on, I think it was a Morningstar data feed, was about $8.55 for fiscal 2023 EPS. All right. That's what they're expecting for Target to do this year. Okay. Now, with the tangible book value, this means basically the money, their value on their balance sheet, the assets they've got on the books, and a 7.5% growth rate over the next 10 years, and a 10% discount rate. Now, that's a market matching rate, roughly. We would see that they are as much as 12.5% overvalued. Now, another way to say it would be bought at today's price. You could apply this 12% discount rate and see that it would, match it up as fairly valued. When it shows up as fairly valued with a 12% discount rate, that means you could expect a 12% return if you believe these assumptions. That is the key. Now, analyst estimates for EPS growth over the next few years are actually substantially higher than 7.5%. But because we're projecting it over a longer period of time, and you want to build in some cushion, some additional margin of safety, right? I'm factoring in that maybe the analysts are being a little bit too bullish on this growth rate, and that it will slow down over time. And so that's why I'm putting in a 7.5%. You want it to be a number that you can, believe in, even if the analysts' rosy expectations don't quite come to fruition. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you just put in, a higher number because the analysts are optimistic about what the next few years will be, yeah, I mean, you can justify paying, 15% more for Target, right? But I think you have to go with more conservative assumptions and, kind of hedge your bets a little bit. Say, hey, they're going to slowly get back up to, the double-digit earnings per share. They used to have EPS. I mean, that it jumped up to $14 from about this level before. but it's not going to jump straight back up to the $14, okay? It's going to get back there over a period of years, and we need to reflect that time in terms of what we pay, the time value of money, right? Basically, it's going to take them time to grow their earnings per share back up to that level. That was sort of an outlier year. They're returning basically back to like what their baseline was when they were growing at a more sustainable normal rate, and they will continue to grow it from there. That's, I think, the more reasonable assumption. Now, if you think that, this whole publicity situation is going to really negatively impact them, maybe Target isn't something you should take a chance on. But I myself personally am starting to potentially see a little bit of value here, and I may pursue it further. Haven't totally made up my mind yet. There's a little bit more research, obviously, to be done on this stock before I would, make it a substantial position in my portfolio. But it's certainly under advisement at this point. So let me know what you think in the comments below about Target. Do you own any Target? Do you think that Target is going to grow their EPS into the future regardless of the current situation? Do you think it's overblown? Also, feel free to hop on the Discord and have that discussion with us there. We always love to hear from new people. Take it easy, everyone, and have a safe weekend. Don't hop on any, piece together submersibles and go looking for the Titanic or anything. All right, guys? I hear that's pretty dangerous. Peace.